Wow, it's a big room.
You ready? OK, good afternoon, guys. Thank you for coming today. My name is Ankur Gupta. I'm from Metascale. And I have Woo-Heng Liu, who is one of our chief architects. So those of you who do not know about Metascale, Metascale is a wholly owned subsidiary of Sears Holdings Corporation. Sears Holdings, as you know, the large Sears, the fourth largest retailer in the US. It's also the largest home services provider in the country. We do over 12 million repairs and over 4 million of deliveries installations. So we get a ton of data. And we're also a company that's at the forefront of digital revolution. So in our store, if you go, you will see our associates checking out iPads, getting feedback from customers, and obviously we have 5 large call centers where we are taking a ton of calls. So all of this data is going somewhere. 3.5 years ago, when Sears realized that we need a better way to manage our data, we started our journey with Hadoop. And then from there till now, we have come a long way. So when we started, Hadoop was in the nascent stage. I mean, arguably, we were probably among the first few true enterprises that started using Hadoop. So as I said, we have come a long way, and we have learned a lot in this journey. So we formed Metascale as a company to help other companies outside Sears accelerate their big data efforts. And what we want to talk to you about today is, as an early adopter of Hadoop technologies, the trend we are seeing. So how many of you are actually from an enterprise who's looking to do something related to big data? Anyone? OK, there are a few. And then how many of you are developers who are doing it for fun? All right, there are a few more. So you may find this is more of our approach towards Big Data 2.0, the trends we are seeing coming. I mean, you know, Hadoop is an ecosystem, but it has its own ecosystem that's called Big Data, right? We see Hadoop as becoming that big data operating system. It has the power. It has the potential to be that. But since 2004, when Google published its first paper on MapReduce till today, about 10 years, we have seen a trend coming. So we want to introduce you to what was Big Data 1.0 and what is 2.0 and how we see that moving. So I'll have Woo-Heng take you through that.
OK, hello, good afternoon. So the topic of today's presentation is Big Data 2.0. This term is a concept that we would like to use to refer new patterns and new trends that are emerging from the big data movement, Hadoop included, that we have seen. So we're going to cover what is already has achieved in big data we call 2.0, and then we will try to categorize what is big data 2.0 in our definition or in our description. And then what does it mean? What's the significance of big data 2.0 to Hadoop and in terms of enterprises that manage data using Hadoop? So that's what we're going to cover today. OK. So as Ankur mentioned, that since Google published MapReduce paper in 2004, 10 years, the whole decade has passed. We have seen 2 waves already in the past 10 years. The first wave, we starting counting from 2004 till 2008. We have seen some landmark events during this phase, during this first 5 years. So MapReduce paper is one of them. It basically presented to us distributed computation model. So that's the first one. And then in 2005, Doug Cutting created Hadoop. So of course, that's also a landmark event. Now, move on to 2006. Google created, Google published big table paper, basically created this key value data model. Then in 2007, Dynamo, actually Amazon published the Dynamo, actually not published Dynamo paper, but created a Dynamo system, provided this fully distributed design. Now, the last landmark event in 2008 is Yahoo put their Hadoop cluster in production, indicating that really this Hadoop is not just a lab toy anymore, that is something real that enterprises can use. So we see that as a first wave or big data 1.0 phase.
Yeah. So to add to that, I mean, the first wave, as we define it, we say that the frontier was laid for big data. The foundation was laid. It was very computational focused. We had a new way of managing and processing data, and it was very innovation focused, but not really as much as enterprise usage, which we moved to as the next one.
Yeah. Okay, so this is already covered. The 2004 MapReduce paper, 2005 dark cutting created Hadoop, 2006 big data paper published, and 2007. Yes, Dynamo is a paper that published in 2007. Okay. Now, this shows that since 2008, there are also some other, we think, important events happened. In 2010, Google published the Dreamer paper, and a lot of new things are based on this paper. For example, Cloudera's Impala and Parquet file format is all based on this paper, and we'll explain why this Dreamer paper is very important. And also in 2012, this year is significant, particularly for us or for enterprises, is that really enterprises started using Hadoop and seriously have a Hadoop initiative effort really bring Hadoop from hype into the enterprise real world. So, and 2013 now we have this Hadoop summit this year. So let's go to the next slide. So Dreamer paper, Hadoop, enterprise Hadoop effort is specifically Sears is one of the Fortune 500 companies that started this Hadoop effort. That is we are the earliest practitioners using Hadoop.
Yeah, so the first wave was all about having fun, some of our cool guys sitting in a room and doing new computation model and stuff like that. The second wave, as we define it, was all about really putting it into practice. Right? And Sears, as we call it, is one of the early adopters of this wave. When we started our Hadoop journey, we really had nobody to learn from. So we started from scratch. We started learning, build our team internally, and that's why we formed Metascale, as we put it in our journey here, to help other companies reduce their learning curve and accelerate their big data initiatives.
Yeah, and 2012 last year also is symbolically important to us because Metascale is a Hadoop-focused startup, is by enterprise, Sears, and for enterprises. We provide services. We provide services as infrastructure and solutions to enterprises that they want to do Hadoop, but they have a difficulty to do it, or they don't know how to do it. And we have solutions, and we have approaches that we can help them. So that's why we put it there as one of the important event in this latter part of this past decade. So hopefully, currently, for the past 2 days, we see a lot of exciting and interesting happen at this conference. So hopefully, can we make that a year one AD For the big data 2.0, there's a big question mark, and I think the answer is really that need us to say whether that will happen or not. Okay, so next slide is we are talking about a few points about big data 1.0 achievements. So number one is so three or four keywords to take away is ecosystem. So 1.0 we have ecosystem, and it's really in health growth. We already see this in the past 2 days. Number two is technologies. And we also see for the past 2 days, new technologies are emerging. And we also see some core technologies are maturing. So that's a very good thing.
Yeah, so actually add to that, the wave one, as we call it, was both constructive and destructive. It was constructive because a new paradigm was being formed. There was new computational model, new storage models that were coming out. It was destructive because we were challenging the conventional way of thinking in the last 5 years. We were no more of OLAP and the previous way of storing and managing data. That is all being shifted to a completely new environment, completely new ecosystems.
Yeah, the third thing here is the community. That's very important. Really, Hadoop's future and whether Hadoop will really go mainframe, really rely on the whole community's effort. Really, thanks to the community, that big data is not a hype anymore. We can tell, we can feel it that the past 2 days is really already real and in the real world for the enterprises. So the last point is that enterprises during the 1.0 phase, that they are just testing water in Hadoop, right? But only a few that is doing it seriously. Okay, so this is to visualize this 1.0 that achievement is that we can put that in like a pyramid. So the base, the bottom is the big data. So Hadoop is an ecosystem, but Hadoop also has an environment that is a big data. So Hadoop is part of the big data, and then built on top of Hadoop as a platform, we have the whole technology stack. But on top of that pyramid, we only, during big data 1.0 phase, we only have very little or very few things that are really related to enterprise functionality. So enterprise-related features or functionality is really sketchy or missing. So that's the point that we try to make using this pyramid.
Good.
Okay, now we are transitioning into a next phase. So the keyword here is shifting. So phase 1 or 1.0, we see a paradigm shift using basically new computational algorithm or model is MapReduce. New data platform is big data dynamo in Hadoop. And new technology is whole thing related to Hadoop tech stack. So that's really a revolution. 1.0 is really a revolution. Now 2.0 is a shift, but it's not a paradigm shift, it's a focus shift. Now the focus is really shifted to enterprises and its data. We want to do some real thing that can handle the data that are generated and used at enterprises.
So, by the way, question to anyone sitting here. Was there anyone from an enterprise who's thinking about using big data when how we define as the first phase between 2004 and 8? All right, so we are right on.
Okay. Yeah. So the next phase, Hadoop will be, instead of technology-centric, we see it as enterprise-centric and enterprise data problem-focused.
Yeah, it won't be as revolutionary as the phase one, when a lot of, as I said, new models, new way of thinking were being formed. However, this phase has the real application. So enterprise and its data are at the core of wave two as we define it.
OK, so we want a big data go mainframe. If we can make that happen, and really, and then the big data 2.0 age or era is here. So now we see that enterprises, Fortune 500 company, or even smaller size company, trying to gain a really competing edge from the use of a big data.
So you may have all heard of the 3 V's of Hadoop, right? As we spoke this morning, I don't know, some of you may have attended our presentation. We're moving from 3 V's in the phase one to 3 T's in phase two. The typical ETL model for us do not exist. In the Sears world, we actually use Hadoop as a data hub, and the closest comparison I can draw for you here is the typical ETL that you're aware of, extract, transform, load. We have changed it, turned it around from ETL to EL, TTTTT. So you extract, you load one time, and then you transform as many times as you want. So really, that's the core of enterprise. Not a lot of innovation happening in phase two, but very enterprise-specific applications. The 3 V's are moving to 3 T's, and the focus is latency. It's no more, the volume, the storage is not much an issue anymore. It's the latency. The moment when the data is created from the moment when it is used, how we define as latency, that's become the focus. That's become the core of phase two.
So we all heard about this 3V big data, right? That we see that as a very 1.0 definition. Now the volume is really not a big deal. That Hadoop can scale well. That yeah, you can always add data nodes to it. So this is not an issue anymore. And the focus is more shifted to how can we handle the data and the time to insight, reduce that cycle to reduce the latency. That really is the focus on that one. OK.
Next slide.
Next one. OK, so compare big data 1.0 with 2.0, we see this. So 1.0 really, big data started as a web phenomenon because you have all those internet companies that got a lot of data from weblog and all that. But big data 2.0, really big data is becoming enterprises a phenomenon. in the previous slides, 2012, December 2012, Facebook already, the data growth rate reached terabyte daily, half petabyte daily at enterprises, actually at Facebook. And we Sears also, we already, our data stored under Hadoop is already petabyte scale also. So really big data becomes a really daily enterprise phenomenon. It's not just a web phenomenon anymore. So, and then next one is that the big data 1.0 is really about the evangelical, that we want to spread the good news about how we can handle big data using Hadoop and related technology. Now, big data 2.0 is not that anymore. It's not just spreading the good news, gospel about Hadoop. It's really more pragmatic, that it's some real problem that we want to tackle. And then from Hadoop as just the Apache open source projects becomes a really enterprise data platform and solutions. That's the difference. And next one is 1.0 is technology-centric, is innovation-driven. Now it's really enterprise 2.0 really is about enterprise data-centric innovation. So that's the difference. 1.0 volume is a big deal. 2.0 latency is a big deal. So that's the difference. Last one is in 1.0, big data technology is really avant-garde. It's very cutting edge. Now, 2.0, big data solutions become mainstream. We wanted to go mainstream. Okay. So we are trying to, here we try to defining big data 2.0 or describing it. So for us, it is really a new phase, a big data movement. So big data is not just entity or static, it's movement. We see it in waves and in phases. So this new phase is enterprise, so we highlight this. This new phase is enterprise-centric, which focus on enterprise big data, its flow, and its process. This is one of the description.
Actually, if you go around and you see most of the solution providers who are exhibiting today, they are all talking about enterprise softwares, right? It's no more of a version of Hadoop you can just try and play. It's really the real-time application of whether it's in-memory solution or an additional version, additional technology and sitting on top of Hadoop to do something different. But what you will find, it's all really enterprise. So that's where the innovation meets the application. And that's how we are defining. So take a close look at all the red words, the word that we have bolded and in red. That's really how at the core of what we call as big data 2.0.
Yeah, big data 2.0, that where's the energy, where's the effort invested? We see that basically we see that the three objectives is for this new phase is that we want to process data in an easy, simpler way, and we want to generate and maintain better data, and also we want to do it faster. So do it easier, better, and faster. That's three objectives of 2.0. Okay. Again, it's a problem-oriented about the enterprise big data management. Okay. So now we see 2.0 has this pyramid, but it's upside down, right? Really, the ecosystem it's there, it's still there, and just MapReduce, core components, and HDFS. And then on top of that, we see the Hadoop technology stack. But then, really, a lot of vendors you see here in the exhibition hall, they are doing things on the top. That's proportionally that we see the effort and the energy is invested on the top layer. Is really enterprise data related features, tools is on top now. This is an upside down pyramid. Okay, so this is more like David Letterman top 10 list that we try to characterize big data 2.0 in this top 10 list. So should we go over this list? Number one, the lines between data and metadata become further blurred. Why this is a big deal? Why is it important? So we know that Hadoop is a failure tolerant distributed system, right? But it's not. Big data is not just about the hardware failure, also about the data itself that can change a lot. Right? We want to move data into Hadoop and store there forever. That's our goal. So we have an approach called the 3 Ts. I don't know how many people went to that previous session. 3 Ts of Hadoop? Not many, okay. So basically, we want to move data into Hadoop from everywhere, the enterprise-related data, and store there in Hadoop forever. But then, the data in Hadoop still need to endure change. But the reality is data change a lot. You have a definition about data, you have a schema about data, but today's, you may have a version 1, tomorrow, there's a business requirement, you have to change the schema, you have to change the definition. What do you do about your data stored already on the HDFS? Do you want to delete them all and repopulate it, redefine, rerun your table or Hive table, or that's one way. Hive is data and metadata separated. But then we see 2.0, we see more and more things about the data model is that you can put the metadata information in data or with data, or you can say schema in data approach. Why that is a big deal? That makes data easy to process and easier to maintain. And then eventually we get better data. So that's about this number one. Number two, data integration pattern is shifting away from ETL to the 3 Ts. So what is 3 T? If you haven't gone to our previous session this morning at 11 o'clock, 3T stands for transfer, transform, and translate. We propose this as a new big data 2.0 pattern for enterprises to better and faster and easily to handle your data. And using that to against we see is an anti-pattern that is conventional ETL. We don't say that you can get rid of ETL. We don't say that you don't have to use ETL all the time. No, you still have your conventional relational database. You still have your conventional data warehouse. But if you're using that technology, ETL, to deal with data in Hadoop, that's not efficient. So we want to propose, and actually we have been doing this in our practice, as best practice, this 3T pattern. So that's number two.
Those of you who are looking to, those of you guys are from enterprise and looking to use Hadoop, how many times you may have seen when the data source is the same, but the results are different? So for example, we have, at Sears, we have over 2,500 stores. And obviously, those people who are shopping at a particular store, that data remains the same. But when the report goes to marketing team or a sales team or any other team, the results are different. How does that happen? Because you are, again, transforming the multiple version of ETL, transforming the data at multiple times in different format. And that's when whatever the data loss or the report loss, that happens. However, now what we do at Sears, we use Hadoop as our goal layer of storage. All of our structured and unstructured data retains there. So after we ingest data in Hadoop through different sources, we keep it there, and then we transform it every time we need a report. So we use Hadoop in parallel with our typical EDW. However, we do use it as our goal layer of data. So you have a single point of truth, a single version of truth for your data, as opposed to multiple reports from the same data.
Okay, number three, batch-oriented pipeline is challenged by stream-based flow. I don't know whether challenge is a good word. Maybe it's a complement or supplement by streaming. So basically, Hadoop started as a batch mode, right? MapReduce file I/O. But now the new norm is, or the new requirement is we want to do it faster. So how do we do it faster? We have to put the data in stream, let it flow like water, so that we can avoid file I/O to achieve that low latency goal. Number four is really also related to low latency in-memory approach. We already see this in-memory database, in-memory data model. And actually, there are some vendors out there that are doing this. So not only the disk space is much cheaper now, even the RAM is also much cheaper. We can afford to pull the data, load the data into RAM. And also, the goal is to reduce the latency. Number six, Hadoop and the No-SQL solutions are further integrated. Okay, so why No-SQL is a big deal, or is important that it's important to integrate it into Hadoop? Also related to low latency, HBase, Cassandra, MongoDB, all those No-SQL approach or solutions without MapReduce. Basically, if we want if we have some requirement, low latency requirement, and we can fork the data flow, and you can send a copy to Hadoop, save it, store it on the HDFS, and in the meantime, you can send the data, move the data in stream, and send it to HBase, Cassandra, and on top of that, using your BI tool, and do really near real-time or real-time analytics. So that's about that. Number 7, Adhoc interactive query outgrows hardcore MapReduce. Okay, that's really about in 2.0 that you need something that is more interactive. And Adhoc is not that predefined, or you write a pig script and you run a batch. Right? We really want the interactive with the end user or with the developers. That we can see more and more that Impala and Stinger and all that is in that category. Okay, number 8, Hadoop evolves from data server-centric to client-rich. Yeah, that's also important. That Hadoop started as a server-side thing. Right? A lot of things, command line or batch mode or a pig script. Now, if you want to do real-time analytics, you want to build a layer, a presentation layer, and you need to make this client layer feature-rich. Number 9, Hadoop becomes the centerpiece of enterprise data system. That's our goal. That we want to use Hadoop, not just a rental space. That if you use the relational database, you run out of space, or if you run Teradata, it cannot take your data in non-retention and use Hadoop as a temporary storage space. No, we want it to be a true centerpiece of your enterprise data systems that is consolidated. You have consolidated and centralized the enterprise data. So that's our goal in 2.0.
Okay.
Number 10, that's interesting, though we know that the phrase that the old dog cannot learn new tricks. The young elephant now is learning old tricks. Kind of like a reversed trend that now we see a lot of vendors trying to move those old tricks, like SQL-like features, into Hadoop. Why is that good, and why is that a big deal? It is a good deal. Right now, we don't say that we see the trend that Hadoop can replace relational database. Now, it's not that true right now, but it might be able to do not just the analytical task. We might also do transactional or operational related data that using these features. So we're going to closely watch that. Number 10 is very interesting. And also, for the people that already get used to the old skills, and they are happy about that one.
So all of you providers who are looking to do new things in Hadoop, make sure you get this list down.
Yeah.
All right.
OK, so big data, enterprise big data really is about better, easier, and faster. So if we for that top 10 list, if we put that into categorize that, we see number 1 is about better data. Number 2 and number 6 is about the simpler or easier processing. Easier process, simpler processing. And then most of the top 10 lists fell into this quicker results category, that we want to do it faster. That's the key. So 2.0, Big Data 2.0 is really about low latency, real time. So a lot of effort, a lot of energy is in that area. Latency, it really becomes a focal point that we want to fight against. Okay, next generation Hadoop. This is about the future of Hadoop. Now we know that Hadoop is in the 2.0, version 2.0 is available. What about beyond that? Next generation Hadoop, what do you expect? So we use this JDK metaphor. So if current Hadoop distribution is a JDK, and then next generation of Hadoop really should be a J2E or Java EE, Java Enterprise version. Is that happening? Not really yet. Even Hadoop 2.0 is not a J2E version of Hadoop. But we really want next generation beyond the Hadoop 0.0 to move into that direction. Really focus on enterprise data and really becomes a centerpiece of this whole picture that integrated not only a platform, but also solutions for all your enterprise data.
Yeah, so the takeaway is Hadoop will become the ubiquitous data enterprise system for you. And then, like J2EE, we'll see new APIs, libraries, etc. being created for Hadoop, as it was versus, as we showed our comparison for JDK and J2EE.
Now is the big question now is that Hadoop, is Hadoop, as current it is, enterprise data platform and solution? Maybe the answer is yes. We already heard some criticism, for example, Murph, that the first day that he did a keynote speech, Murph early this year with his colleague had this report about the title is something like Hadoop is not in the big data integration solution. So that's the quote from his report. Basically, he says that, well, in that report, he's more pessimistic. Now, yesterday's keynote, he's more optimistic. Maybe it's because during this time that there are already new things that make it more excited, or maybe just he is guest speaker that he don't want to do.
So our suggestion is this: ignore the criticism.
So basically, what he says in that report is that even toward the end of 2016, Hadoop is still gonna missing some major features that becomes enterprise useful platform and a solution.
Okay.
So,
2 minutes. Let's
yeah. So what is really missing? Actually, for us, technologies is there and solutions are there. Actually, that's not the point. The point is not that we don't we lack of solution. We lack technologies. The really problem for us is this. We think that we see so many distributions and Cloudera, Hortonworks, Intel, and blah blah blah. But really, right now is that we don't have open standards for enterprise big data. So that's the big problem. That we don't have something like internet or web standard, like something like a governing body, like a W3C. So there's a problem that we welcome competition, but we really need to base our competition on some standards. So that's the thing that we see is missing. Okay, so what to do about it? Sears and Metascale's proposal is we really need a governing body to work on the open standards for enterprise big data for this new phase, for this 2.0 phase. We need a consortium like W3C to working on and to propose open standards for enterprise big data. So a component and a governance body of the Hadoop community, including vendors, service providers like Metascale, enterprise big data practitioners like Sears, and the researchers and innovators like Yahoo and Hortonworks, all those people, to advocate and develop open standards for Hadoop-based enterprise data platform. Actually, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think we are wrapping up. And do you have any questions? As
That's
Anchor,
the end of the presentation. So in summary, quickly, Big Data 1.0 has passed. 2.0 is already there. Sears is already living it. We are using Hadoop for more than just the processing and storing of big data, but a lot more than that. Ignore the criticism. We believe that Hadoop is here and to stay. As there was a recent article by Doug Cutting himself that we have not seen a legitimate competition for Hadoop as yet. And we see with the open standards that are there, they're not sufficient as yet. So we propose that there be a consortium for all of us to come together, and we all promote and provide inputs so we can all develop Hadoop as an ecosystem that all can be benefited from. And Metascale is ready to take a lead on it, but that's our suggestion for this summit today. Thank you. Questions? We already have one. Thank you. For the one person who got the presentation.
Sorry, we're in a time. We need to prepare for the next session in here.
OK, guys, if you have anything, we can meet you outside and chat to you in person. But thank you for your
and
time.
you can email us also. Thank you.